Hello subscribers, patrons, and new listeners. You are listening to Feed Your Mind, and so today we will discuss Buzz Aldrin's epic slip-up when asked why they never went back to the moon. There's been a lot of controversy around this clip, but basically Buzz was asked why we haven't been back to the moon, and he responded by saying because we didn't go there. They're basically saying that the video was taken out of context just because he corrected himself and started talking about actually being on the moon later on in the interview. It's as if they've never heard of a Freudian slip.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and we didn't go there, and because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going.
Said you went to the moon in 69. Yeah. I went to the moon in 1969. And then in an interview, you said you didn't go there, correct? Yeah, well, no, it was about the money. We didn't go back because of the money. You see, you know you done messed up now, don't you? First, you said you went to the moon in 69. And then you said you didn't go there. He actually did say because we didn't go there. And so then he goes on to kind of correct himself, and he gets back on track saying stuff like it was about the money, and he started making more sense about the moon landing and admitting he was there. And so that's why people were saying it was taken out of context, because Buzz went back on track. He started speaking again as if he was on the moon. And so I guess what the criticism is about that clip, when they're saying it's taken out of context, they're trying to say, well, he didn't mean we didn't go there. He meant we didn't go back there. We're supposed to fill in the blanks for Buzz now? Okay, so basically you're saying give him a pass and it's all being taken out of context. He didn't mean to say that. Do you even understand what a Freudian slip is? A Freudian slip is an unintentional error regarded as revealing subconscious feelings. Key word here, unintentional error. When Buzz was asked why we didn't go back to the moon, he said because we didn't go there. It just kind of slipped out. So he had time to kind of get back on course and kind of correct that mistake that he made and keep on talking as if he didn't just say that. But that doesn't mean he didn't slip up and say something that was on his subconscious mind. And so since when are we not calling NASA out on Freudian slips? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we've been calling NASA out on stuff like this. Remember when the astronaut said he used to cross the United States from where we're talking to you right now?
And all of that happened in a little town called York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now.
Is that taken out of context, or is that a Freudian slip? What about when the astronaut said during the Orion project video that the Van Allen belt is a problem that they're still trying to solve?
Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. And
so that's another example of a Freudian slip, where you can say it's either being taken out of context, or you can look at it as if it could be an unintentional error. How about when the astronaut said, right now we can only fly in Earth's orbit. That's the farthest we can go.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
Eventually we can get to the moon, possibly. Well, didn't we do that already? More than once? Oh, but I'm sure we're just taking him out of context. And so one other Freudian slip is when Robert Simmons said about the Earth pic, he was saying that it's photoshopped because it has to be.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Let's not sit here and act all surprised that us flat earthers are finding slip-ups and apparent Freudian slips coming out of the mouths of these liars. It's fair game even in the legal system, where they tell you everything you say can and will be used against you. And so is somehow Buzz immune to this common standard of using the actual words that you say out of your mouth and holding those words accountable? And so to me, it doesn't matter if Buzz was talking about being on the moon before he said that slip up or after he said that slip up. Either way, he made the slip up. And anything that he says can and will be used against him. When it comes to flat earth research, we've caught plenty of slip-ups before. This is probably not going to be the last slip-up we're going to catch from these astronauts, and we're going to continue to point out these slip-ups as we catch them. It's not meant to be taken as some type of ultimate confession. We're just pointing out the slip-ups. I went ahead and wanted to see what you all had to say about this, and so I released a poll, and well over 1,000 of you have voted. And the question was, when Buzz Aldrin said, "Because we didn't go there," was that an accidental admission or taken out of context? And then I went on to say, only answer if you saw the entire interview. And then I left a link to the original interview, which was about 15 minutes long. And so over 1,000 of you have voted, and a unanimous 85% of you have said that the Buzz Aldrin clip was an accidental admission. Only 15% of you are saying that the clip was taken out of context. And so if an 8-year-old can ask questions like, why haven't we been back to the moon? A simple question like that goes over most people's heads. And so I used to be like most people, and I just assumed that the moon landing was real just because that's what I was told my whole life. The programming is very effective. And a lot of you need to start waking up and start asking questions because there's tons of proof out there now. There's no excuse for it to be 2018, and the best footage we have of the moon landing is from the 1970s. We should have high definition quality footage of the moon. We shouldn't be dealing with standard definition. Where is our HD footage of the moon? Now the big question is, why haven't we been back to the moon? Well, I believe Buzz said it best. He said because we didn't go in the first place. I mean, a good portion of people are starting to wake up to the fact that the moon landing appears to have been nothing more than a Hollywood stage show. I've done a complete analysis of the entire moon landing, and you can check out that video for complete details. The video is called Proof the Moon Landing Was Science Fiction, plus Why They Never Landed. And in this video, we go over everything you need to know about how and why the moon landing never happened. For example, why has it been 50 years since anyone has ever set foot on the moon? Why are we even discussing about going to Mars if we haven't even colonized the moon yet? Why did the Russians give up in the space race just because the Americans were said to have made it there first? Why was the Nixon administration the only national leader to have ever claimed to have made it to the moon and set foot on it? And the biggest giveaway that no one's been to the moon is that why is there not tons of space bases on the moon? If the space program's missions are to eventually land on another planet and build space bases on it, why not get the practice right here from our moon and learn how to properly set up camp on a place other than Earth? And if you can come up with an excuse for why there's no space base on the moon, then at least explain to me why there's not an HD camera on the moon that's pointed at the Earth. I mean, why wouldn't that have been done by now? And so in case you haven't noticed, the moon always faces us at all times. We never see any other side of the moon. If the moon is rotating, how could there be such a perfect orbit that the moon is always facing us at all times? If gravity is some type of random force that makes things orbit and spin all over the universe and the solar system, how could something like gravity work so perfect that the moon is rotating in a locked position so perfectly? And so even if you do believe that the moon is rotating, you must admit that the way that the moon is locked into a position where it only faces us at all times is a pretty obvious indication of intelligent design. At the very least, for an orbiting planet to be locked in such a perfect way, where not only does it face us at all times, but it also has a moon cycle where it lights up perfectly for us as we can set our calendars to it, and we know exactly when the full moon is coming, and we know exactly when the half moon is coming, and the new moon and whatnot. And so for the moon to display such a perfectly organized timekeeping system for us, we must conclude that at the very least, this is definitely showing signs of being intelligently designed. And so if you want to take this research further, check out my Proof the Moon Is Not What You Were Told playlist, where we dig deep into several topics about the moon, including the strange story about the scientific origin of the moon and much more. Simply enter your email address at feedyourmind1.com. That way I can send you some cool news briefs throughout the week. It's completely free. I'm giving away a free collectible for my Feed Your Mind pop-up shop. To enter, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment about the video, and include your favorite Flat Earth proof. Chip in $1 at my Patreon page to help keep this channel running. You get to watch videos before they come out, and we have a bunch of other cool stuff over there, like the Flat Earth Challenge. Complete details at patreon.com/feedyourmind. Please click your notification bell. This has been another episode of Feed Your Mind. Thank you for tuning in. Signing off.